Now let's move on to the Nigerian Stock Exchange that closed on Friday at 33,506. Week on week, that's a 1.69% gain, and the year-to-date performance is 19.33%. Now joining me to discuss the Nigerian market is Adegboyega Adebajo, who's the head structured finance and advisory at Diamond Bank. Boyega, thank you for joining me today.
Morning, Didi.
Great. I'd like us to start by focusing on this news out that the NSE has ordered operators in the Nigerian capital market to stop the daily distribution of capital market information to clients and investors. Now, obviously, a lot of investors rely on that information. It would be good to know your take on this news.
Well, it was certainly rather surprising, and but I do expect that there's a very strong reason behind it. It's the sort of order that can send the wrong information around to investors. But I'd just like to wait and hear what the reasons are behind that decision.
When do you think that we can start to hear about that decision? I mean, when do you think investors have to wait?
Well, it's a pretty short week we have, and it shouldn't really be too long. They have to do something this week. Otherwise, like I said, the wrong signals start to take root, yes, and reactions may not be the best for the market.
Yes. Now let's move on to the market itself. We saw Cadbury propose 50 kobo dividend. Now that's of course the first payment from the company since 2005, I believe. We saw the market react with the stock gaining 2.2% on Friday. It'd be good to know your expectation for results from that company and how you expect the market to continue to react to that.
Well, you know, I've been watching Cadbury a while, and for us, it's one of those stocks which we picked last year as a stable, growing stock, which investors ought to have taken a position in. We're not surprised as to the corporate actions we're seeing from Cadbury. The company has really turned itself around. The management is pretty much focused. And there's a large market out there for Cadbury to make the gains from. So the outlook is pretty good, not just for Cadbury, but essentially for the FMCG area.
Okay, now, you know, as you say, we're expecting more results this week. What about generally across the board? Well, what are your expectations?
Well, this is the last week for the quarter. For a lot of the banking industry, we expect results to start filtering out late this week or early next week, so that we can start to get an idea of what the audited 2012 results were like in that sector, and the same for some of the other companies we have on the market. Most of what we see now is in terms of taking positions for corporate actions and to benefit from that. You'll notice that the volume traded last week was somewhat less than the one of the week before. And that's probably because positions are being taken, and there won't be too much movement around. What I do wish will not happen is that profit taking will not depress the market too much once these results and corporate actions are released.
Yes, I was just going to say that. I mean, that's something that a lot of people might begin to see happen in terms of profit taking from those stocks, because obviously investors are expecting really good results, so I guess they're also expecting to take their profits as well. Now, what other buying opportunities are you seeing in this market?
Well, let me just talk on with regards to the profit taking. It's an interesting behavior, right? But if you look in terms of what's happening in the macroeconomy generally, it just might be safer because the capital market itself is bringing about some very interesting yields compared to what's going on in the money market. Just might be a safer, near liquid market to stay in. There's a lot of stability in the economy, and the prospects for growth is there. Inflation is stable, and those companies will continue to do well. It will be a bit strange because you then ask the question, what are the alternative investment opportunities once you exit those positions? They're perhaps few and far in between. We will certainly see a few more new issues coming into the market. Okay. There's not too much detail as to what exactly will be coming in, but definitely as in the next quarter, we expect to see at least a couple of them coming in.